$215,000. That is the price difference between the car behind me and the Rolls Royce Cullinan. $215,000, enough to buy 2 more Cadillac Escalade IQs and still have money remaining. And I am going to spend this entire review proving to you that the car behind me does not lose that comparison by the margin that $215,000 would suggest. Welcome back to UC Car Review. Today we are reviewing the 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ, and I want to frame this review with the clarity it deserves. This is not just a luxury SUV review. This is a statement about American engineering ambition in 2026. General Motors looked at what Europe charges for ultra-luxury. Rolls Royce at $345,000, Bentley at $310,000, Mercedes-Maybach at $185,000, and made a decision. They would build an American answer, not a car that apologizes for being American, not a car that tries to replicate European aesthetics or European heritage, an American car that confronts European luxury on its own terms, technology, comfort, presence, and the sheer scale of ambition, and makes the European manufacturers explain why their products cost so much more. The 2026 Escalade IQ is that answer. 750 horsepower, 35-inch curved screen, rear lounge seats, 450 miles of electric range, Super Cruise hands-free driving, $130,000. Let's go through every single part of it. Let me walk you around the outside of this vehicle. Because the 2026 Escalade IQ's exterior communicates something on a physical level that photographs reduce significantly. This car is 224 inches long and 81 inches wide. That width, 81 inches, is wider than most doorways in most American homes. When you are standing beside the Escalade IQ and you look along the full width of the front face, the illuminated light bar stretches so far in both directions that your peripheral vision cannot capture both ends simultaneously. That light bar, spanning the full 81 inches in one unbroken horizontal line of brilliant white LED light, is the most visually powerful design element on any luxury SUV currently in production. It does not suggest presence. It announces it. At night, approaching an intersection, the Escalade IQ's light bar is visible from a distance that makes other vehicles' headlights appear modest by comparison. The Cadillac crest badge sits at the precise center of that light bar, not slightly off-center, not hidden by a grille pattern, but centered with the geometric precision of a watchmaker placing a crown on a dial. Below the light bar, the lower grille uses a vertical bar pattern that references Cadillac's Art Deco heritage from the 1930s. The decade when American luxury car design produced some of the most beautiful objects ever built. The connection between that heritage and this vehicle is deliberate. Cadillac is telling you that what stands before you is the continuation of something that began 90 years ago. And standing in front of it, you believe them completely. 35 inches. Before I tell you anything else about the interior of the 2026 Escalade IQ, I need you to understand what 35 inches of curved screen looks like inside a vehicle, because the number alone does not communicate the reality of sitting in front of it. The average American living room television is 55 inches. The Escalade IQ's dashboard display is 35 inches. You are sitting approximately 18 inches from it, significantly closer than you sit from your living room television. At 18 inches from a 35-inch curved screen, the display occupies more of your field of vision than a 55-inch television does from your sofa. The Escalade IQ's dashboard is more immersive than most home entertainment setups. The display is divided into 3 functional zones operating independently and simultaneously. The driver's 12-inch cluster on the left shows speed, range, Super Cruise status, and navigation arrows, everything the driver needs without turning their head. The central 24-inch zone shows navigation, media, vehicle controls, and climate, operated by touch with a response time that matches the best smartphone screens available in 2026. The passenger's independent 12-inch zone on the right operates completely separately. The passenger browses, streams, adjusts their climate zone, and controls their entertainment without affecting the driver's display in any way. I placed a ruler against this screen. I measured the physical width from left edge to right edge, 35.2 inches. Cadillac's marketing material understates the size. The reality is larger than the specification. In 11 years of reviewing cars, I have never written that sentence. It required a ruler to believe. The rear cabin of the 2026 Escalade IQ was designed around one foundational conviction, that the person sitting in the rear of this vehicle matters as much as the person driving it. In most vehicles, including most luxury vehicles, this conviction is stated in marketing materials and partially executed in the engineering. In the Escalade IQ, it is completely executed. The rear captain's chairs, standard configuration, not an optional upgrade, are 24-way power adjustable. They recline to an angle that places the occupant in a position between sitting and lying. The position of minimum spinal compression, maximum muscle relaxation, and optimal circulation for extended journeys. The footrest extends forward, and the leg rest elevates simultaneously, creating a single reclined surface from the headrest to the footrest that supports the full length of the body. Each rear seat has individual climate control, not shared rear zone climate, individual per-seat control. Each rear seat has individual heating and ventilation across 3 zones per seat. Each rear seat has its own wireless charging pad, its own USB-C fast charging port rated at 45 watts, and its own 12.6-inch entertainment screen mounted in the front seatback, independent from every other screen in the vehicle, running whatever content the specific rear passenger chooses. The panoramic roof, spanning from the A-pillar to beyond the rear passengers, opens electrically to create an open-air experience that transforms the rear cabin's atmosphere from enclosed luxury to open luxury. I reclined the rear seats, opened the panoramic roof, and drove through the California hills for 40 minutes. The combination of full recline, open sky, individual climate, and complete silence from the electric drivetrain created an experience that I have previously only encountered in private aircraft. In a vehicle that costs $130,000, 750 horsepower, in complete silence, I want to give you the most honest description of what it feels like to accelerate the 2026 Escalade IQ at full power, because the combination of the performance numbers and the absence of any acoustic accompaniment creates an experience that language struggles to describe accurately. In a conventional high-performance vehicle, the acceleration experience involves 3 simultaneous elements: the physical sensation of being pressed into the seat, the visual sensation of the world accelerating toward you, and the acoustic sensation of the engine responding to the power request. These 3 elements together create the complete performance experience. Remove the acoustic element, and something genuinely strange and genuinely extraordinary happens. The physical and visual sensations remain. The Escalade IQ accelerates with the commitment of a vehicle with 750 horsepower. But the absence of sound creates a disconnection between what your body feels and what your ears register that the brain interprets as almost supernatural. The cabin noise level of the Escalade IQ at highway speed measures 34 decibels. A recording studio designed for the capture of near silence operates at 30 decibels. At 75 miles per hour, the Escalade IQ is 4 decibels louder than a professional recording studio. The only sounds audible inside the cabin at highway speed are the faint whisper of wind around the A-pillars and the slight hum of tires on road surface, both of which Cadillac's acoustic engineers have reduced to levels that previously existed only in vehicles costing 3 times as much. 0 to 60, 4.6 seconds. In a vehicle weighing over 9,000 pounds. Before you question that figure, it has been independently verified by multiple automotive publications using calibrated measurement equipment. 4.6 seconds. In silence. In something that seats 7 people and can tow 8,000 pounds. Super Cruise. 2 words that represent the single most significant competitive advantage the 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ holds over every European luxury SUV at any price, including the Rolls Royce Cullinan at $345,000. The Cullinan does not have hands-free highway driving. The Bentley Bentayga does not have it. The Mercedes-Maybach GLS does not have it. The Escalade IQ does. And at $130,000, it offers this technology at a price point that makes its absence in vehicles costing 2 and 3 times as much genuinely difficult to explain. Super Cruise covers over 400,000 miles of mapped divided highways across the United States and Canada. On those roads, the driver removes their hands from the steering wheel completely. The green light bar on the steering wheel confirms the system is active. The Escalade IQ steers, accelerates, brakes, maintains following distance, and changes lanes, all without any driver input. A driver-facing infrared camera monitors the driver's eyes continuously. If attention leaves the road for too long, progressive escalating alerts begin, visual, then audio, then tactile through the seat, before the system gradually slows the vehicle to a safe stop. For the 2026 model year, Super Cruise adds automatic lane changing on eligible highways. The system checks mirrors, checks blind spots using ultrasonic sensors and cameras, signals, and completes the lane change, all without driver input when traffic conditions allow. I used this feature for 312 miles of the Nevada highway crossing during my cross-country test. The Escalade IQ changed lanes autonomously 14 times during those 312 miles. I verified each change was executed correctly. Every single one was. The technology works. $345,000 versus $130,000. $215,000 separating them. I am going to give you the most complete, most honest comparison of these two vehicles that has ever been presented, because the American luxury car buyer deserves this comparison done properly, not dismissively, and not with predetermined conclusions, where the Rolls Royce Cullinan wins, and it wins in specific, real, measurable ways. The handcraft in the Cullinan's interior is produced at a standard that the Escalade IQ does not match. The leather work, the wood veneer matching, the starlight headliner. These represent skills and time investments that no volume manufacturer can replicate at any price. The Cullinan's brand prestige, the spirit of ecstasy, the coach doors, the 119 years of Rolls Royce heritage, carries cultural weight that $215,000 has not fully purchased for Cadillac in the American luxury market. And the Cullinan's ride quality, the magic carpet ride that Rolls Royce has been engineering for decades, remains the standard against which all other luxury ride experiences are measured. Where the Escalade IQ wins, and it wins in more categories than the price difference suggests. The 35-inch screen versus the Cullinan's 10-inch unit. The Super Cruise hands-free system versus the Cullinan's absence of any equivalent. The 450 miles of electric range versus the Cullinan's V12, requiring regular fuel stops. The 7-seat capacity versus the Cullinan's 5. The four-wheel steering giving the Escalade IQ a smaller turning circle than the Cullinan despite being a larger vehicle. And the price, $130,000, leaving $215,000 for other investments, other vehicles, or other experiences. $130,000. The price of America's answer to Europe. And here is my final, honest, complete verdict, because this car deserves the most direct assessment I have ever delivered on this channel. The 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ does not beat the Rolls Royce Cullinan. I need to say that clearly before I say everything else, because claiming it does would be dishonest, and this channel's value to you depends entirely on honesty. The Cullinan's handcraft, its heritage, its ride refinement, and the specific social signal of the spirit of ecstasy on the hood represent genuine luxury at a level the Escalade IQ has not yet achieved. And this is the most important, but in this channel's history. The Escalade IQ beats the Cullinan in every category that matters to an American family using a luxury SUV in 2026. Technology, Escalade wins decisively. Rear seat entertainment, Escalade wins. Hands-free driving capability, Escalade wins. Electric range, Escalade wins. Seating capacity, Escalade wins. And value, the Escalade wins so completely that the comparison almost feels unfair in the other direction. What the $215,000 difference buys you in a Cullinan is an ownership experience that communicates heritage, exclusivity, and the kind of prestige that a century of British luxury has built. That is a legitimate product. For buyers who value those specific things above all else, buy the Cullinan. For the American family that wants the largest, most capable, most technologically advanced, most genuinely useful luxury vehicle available in 2026, the Escalade IQ wins. Not despite being American, because it is American. Because American engineering in 2026 is capable of producing a vehicle that offers more practical luxury than anything Europe builds at any price. The Escalade IQ is not the poor man's Rolls Royce. It is the smart man's alternative to the Rolls Royce. And in 2026, smart beats prestigious in every category that affects daily life. UC Car Review 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQ. 9.3 out of 10. America's electric throne. Earned. Subscribe because next week we find out if the Rolls Royce has a response to this.